Good afternoon. Welcome to the Buzz Monday's edition this lovely Monday afternoon, the 20th of May 2024. My name is Patience. It's a pleasure to be here. And in the news, some UK journalists and royal supporters have been blasting Nigeria over the recent visit of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. I'm talking about Harry and Meghan. Of course, you know, over the last 2 weekends ago, they were here in Nigeria for the Invictus game, which essentially is for the rehabilitation of wounded soldiers. Also, Meghan took it as an opportunity to visit Nigeria, which she calls our own country, having found out that she's 43% Nigerian. That, amongst others, is what we'll be discussing on the program this afternoon. Quickly, let me introduce the guest at the table today. I have a writer, a businessman, and public affairs analyst in the person of Mr. Tochukwu Ezukama joining us on the program today. Good afternoon, Mr. Ezukama.
Good afternoon, Patience, and thank you so very much for having me.
You're welcome, sir, and thank you for honoring the invitation. Also joining us at the table, he is a journalist, a brand analyst, and he's also a public affairs analyst in the person of Chief Godi the Great of Forsec. Good afternoon to you, Chief of Forsec.
Good afternoon, Patience.
Welcome to the show.
It's nice to be here after a long absence.
Yeah, good to have you back.
Yes,
I can see you're looking and feeling much better now.
Yes, you know, we don't know what God does for us when we wake up every morning and go out and we complain we don't have something to eat. I think the most important thing about life is health, good health.
Good health, yeah.
And when you have good health, you shouldn't worry about any other thing. Whether you have a car, you have a home to lay your head, you have food in your stomach. If you are able to stand up on your own, do things on your own, eat whatever is in front of you, give glory to God.
All right, well said. Welcome to the show again. Okay, I know when you've had like a near brush experience with death, then you know you begin to appreciate life a bit more. Good to have you on the show. Welcome, viewers. Thank you for joining us. The number to use will be on the screen in a while. And don't forget, you can watch this show live on X, formerly Twitter. Also, you can watch us on StarTimes or just download the Galaxy TV app and watch us on the go on your mobile devices. Having said that, Lagos warns against after-hours lessons in public schools. The Lagos state government has cautioned teachers and schools against conducting after-hours lessons beyond the official closing hours in public schools. Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education, Jamiu Ali Balogun, made this known last week. According to Ali Balogun, these additional sessions for which pupils are charged are no longer permitted. The commissioner clarified that the extra hour after school is designated for extracurricular activities, which aims to encourage students to engage in social activities and also club activities. He expressed dissatisfaction with the prevalent practice where initial lessons are often disrupted by teachers in many public schools across the state, and he warned of strict actions against any teacher found neglecting their duties. He also stressed the importance of teachers fulfilling their responsibilities during the standard school hours of 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., leaving the extra hour for either personal study or participation in extracurricular activities. The commissioner said Lagos State does not permit fee-based extra lessons in schools, and education is free in Lagos State. No charges should be imposed on students for any educational activities. All right, let me begin with you, Mr. Ezukama. We know this is like a normal practice, not just in public schools, also especially in private schools and all of that, but then the government clamping down on teachers in public schools now. What are your thoughts, sir?
It's nothing new. Even those days in the 70s, the government of East Central State tried to do the same thing. That is making it that teachers will not organize after-school lessons and then charge the students. And I remember my young sisters then, who were about 10 years, going to those after-hours lessons in their school, although it was technically illegal. But my father kept paying for them because my father said my father was an estate surveyor and then he was a civil servant, but did outside jobs for private individuals. So to him, it's like, this thing I'm doing, although I'm employed by the government, but I have businessmen, I have people seeking loans coming to me to appraise their property. Would I object it?
It's called PP.
PP. So I sympathize with the teachers. So irrespective of what the law says, I will continue to pay. But the thing is that it can be abused when a teacher deliberately refuses to teach during
the school hours, the official school hours.
You use the word disrupt so that people can come to lessons. In the hospitals, it happens, doctors will be available. Then, because it's in his private
practice,
practice. So, governments make laws that are too sweeping. As a student, a primary school student, I was a terribly bad student. I couldn't make out what they were saying in class. My mother tried to send me to somewhere so I would learn. There too, I couldn't make out what they were saying in class. But I started learning during the war. When I went to a certain place, all they talked about was school. So they asked me in primary 6, before the war was in primary 6, name the prime numbers between 1 and 20. I'll mix up the prime numbers with odd numbers. So they'll be laughing at me, making jest at me. So I became ashamed and got those books and started reading them. That's what when I grasped what they were saying. Oh, simple interest, compound interest, multiple proportion. Oh, is that what they meant? So the thing is that people need to learn. Whether it's sometimes after classes, lessons help a lot. So to just make blanketing rules saying it's illegal, I don't agree with that. But sometimes it gets abused. So where do you strike the delicate balance?
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Izukama. All right, Chief of Force. We all know that this private after-school lessons, this is how the teachers get by, because their salaries are nothing. You get what I'm saying? And we also know that they actually pay more attention to these after-school classes because they get something from it. Do you also agree with Mr. Isma that the government should outrightly, outlaw it, or there should be some sort of settling on the issue?
Well, I don't think government has done anything wrong in saying that the after-school lesson should be outlawed. I feel in my own time it was quite different. I think we have a syllabus, okay, where a teacher needs to cover. In my own time, we used to close by 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and nobody stays back in school. And because I went to a primary school and secondary school that have plenty of lands, so teachers were not concerned about after school lessons. So they were concerned about
going to their farms,
those lands. Now, I think in my time, teachers got queried for not covering their syllabus, and a parent who wants extra lessons for his child, that you have to meet a teacher. It's not to cover the curriculum, it's to revise what they have done
in class.
That was what the after class service for us were meant for. But now after class service is to cover the curriculum, which is not a syllabus rather, which is not supposed to be. So the teachers now deliberately do not want to cover their syllabus, so that and wait for them to collect, to say, okay, we didn't cover this, we have to come so that we can cover it. I mean, principals, headmasters now need to see what teachers are doing and give them query. In those days, teachers used to get query for not covering their syllabus. All right? Because you must have a particular from year to year to cover for students in a term. And if you don't, that means you have lagged behind and you need to be queried and punished.
Isn't that what the teacher's note is about? So that, you record, document
That's what I'm saying.
what you have taught your students in class.
What we are doing now in after-school service is to use the extra lessons
to cover the syllabus.
True. I'm coming. I will give you.
Go ahead.
To speak. So at the end of the day, I feel the government, the Lagos State government, is on track, because at the end of the day, you see parents coming out to malign the government. They say the education is free. I am paying for lessons. I am paying. So government is trying to say a message to the parent that, look, this thing is free. I see no reason. And for parents who are obstinate and wants to continually toe the path of private school, despite the fact that those private schools are glorified otakara. You understand? They want to be. So bring your children to the public school. We are doing good now. And I think that is the message, that is the bottom line that the government is doing. And I think kudos to the commissioner for coming out to say this. I actually thought it was as a result of abuse, because in those days, after school services were a platform for abuse for young girls. The teacher wait for school to be quiet and pretend as if he's taking the child, and at the end of the day he abused the child. But I feel with what the government is doing is they are on the right track, and I think teachers should be held accountable for not covering their syllabus.
Thank you, Chief Professor.
My question is this: where is the headmaster? Where are those supervisors that should routinely, weekly, maybe not daily, weekly, monthly, bi-weekly, review the work of the teachers and make sure they are teaching in line with the syllabus, and that they will complete at the end of the week. So there must have been laxity among the principals. A certain governor went to a certain primary school, I don't remember what state, somewhere in the north. By 8 a.m. when class is supposed to start, school is supposed to start, nobody was there. The teachers were not there. Some of the students were there. I think the headmaster was there. So you see the haphazardness, the I don't care-ness, lack of supervision, lack of regimentation in our schools. So with those basic problems, teachers may not cover their syllabus.
Sure.
Teachers can abuse the system. Yeah. But if they are regulated and regulated seriously, then some of these problems you are trying to deal with laws will be taken care of on their own.
Thank you, everyone. You know, this is an endemic problem, even though we don't see it as a problem, you know, just like both of you have said. Parents are seeing it like, you know, the extra thing they need to do for their children to excel in their studies, you know. In my time, there was no after-school coaching in the school premises, but my parents insisted we needed after-school lessons. So what you do is after school, you get home, you change your clothes, you eat, and then you now proceed for your lessons in a separate place, outside of the school. Exactly, not to the same school or the teachers. But things have changed over the years and all. It's even worse in private schools. This one is affecting public schools, of course, because it is government owned. But private schools, it is a must. It is compulsory. In fact, they add your after-school coaching fees with your tuition, what you have to pay. You must pay for after-school lessons. It's as if that one is even the most important thing. They add it on, you know, and because that money is really for the teachers, that's how they get by. I don't have a problem with that. But then, cover the syllabus that you're supposed to cover. Let the kids, you know, learn what they're supposed to learn. Then if as parents, they decide they want them to do after-school coaching, it is on the parents. Even some parents have had to, they have to bring in private teachers into their homes. I have done that too, you know, with one of my kids when he wasn't, you know, meeting up and all. So parents always know how to go about these things. But then when now becomes an issue of you must pay, or else you're dealt with, just like it's becoming in public schools. It's becoming that, all right? I think that's why the government is stepping in now. So this news affects public schools, all right? So it's 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. The extra 1 hour is for extracurricular activities. It could be for clubs, maybe your press club, your Jets club, or for you to do sports, play football, do volleyball. That's how it should be. Okay, I don't even want us to go into the rot in the school system. right now. I have a child who is writing WAEC at the moment. I don't even want to tell you the kind of things that is going on. You know, like I'm just opening my mouth every day. I'm like, ha, ha. You know, there's something I can do. Do you know that the school, private school, for every paper, like they're having a paper today, then they will tell each child to come with 2,000 naira. Quick revision of the subject they're writing today. Then each student is paying 2,000 naira. Do the math yourself. Then my daughter told me she will get to her exam venue, you know, then she has to bribe the gate man. She has to be special. I'm like, what has the school become these days? What has it become? The government needs to take a deeper look, really.
You see, patient, this is the...
It's terrible.
This is the aftermath of the private school syndrome, you know. I attended, I'm proud to say, I attended Methodist Boarding School.
A public school.
It was founded in 1905, after Upward. This is the oldest tertiary institution in Akwa Ibom State. In fact, it's the first. I am proud to say that the principal we used to have, our teacher, our former teacher, the woman that taught me integrated science, but is the current deputy governor of Akwa Ibom State. I can tell you in fact, in JS2, Agunayani, he was the one that taught me integrated science in JS2, in boys high school. All right, he's the current deputy governor of Akwa Ibom. So I can tell you that, look, like I had a discussion, I said, look, I am not, if perhaps, if the Lagos State, like I'm seeing the progress in public school, I may be forced to withdraw my children and take them to the public school. Because the kids are not learning anything. The school environment is choked up. They can't play. My children can't play basketball. They can't play volleyball. I mean, I play football. I came to Lagos. Mr. God, it will shock you. I came to Lagos to go to Belgium to play football. I end up a journalist. I'm not joking.
Thank you. Please, that story, we'll share it another day.
The problem.
Wow.
The problem, like I keep saying, is about leadership. I was reading about a professor of law who raped a girl, a 20-year-old girl, in his office. The girl was crying. People came to her aid. Her parents came in, took the matter to court.
Here in Nigeria?
Yeah, University of Calabar.
Okay.
And then the professor was suspended. But while the investigation was still going on and the case was still in court, he was reinstated to continue to teach. The problem is that the professor is the dean of law school. And the man that reinstated him, whatever he was, deputy vice chancellor, vice chancellor, is a party to the whole same sleazy, lascivious behavior of the professors, the exploitation of young women. So a thief cannot, kettle cannot call what? Black. So he was reinstated. Now he's in trouble again.
Yeah.
So the people in power don't care, or they are part of the rot. They benefit from the disorder. You pay gate man, you pay this person, the myth goes up, trickles up to the highest echelon of the powers that be. That's why it's hard to deal with this problem.
Thank you, Mr. Zukama. Thank you, Chief of Force. All right, so this is a good move by the Lagos State government. Let's begin to sanitize the education sector.